Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, yesterday Donald Trump down in Florida had a press conference where he announced that he has filed a lawsuit, class action I believe, against Google, Facebook, and Twitter, along with some others. Now, it's very important to understand the theory of liability of his lawsuit. It basically is this, that these three companies are acting in conjunction with our government, so therefore they are in fact government, so they should not be allowed to infringe upon free speech. Now, I have a Facebook lawsuit drafted, and one of the theories of liability that I have that I think is a winner too is the idea of detrimental reliance. When you rely upon somebody to your detriment based upon a promise that they have made, and you're harmed by that, that's an issue. Donald Trump, in my opinion, and me and everybody else who's a conservative, rely upon these platforms of what they claim to offer you. So therefore you use them and you build them up. You rely upon their promises for that. Now, they have these big, broad agreements. But ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, for those of you that hear these legal pundits that say that Trump's lawsuit is dead on arrival, that's not the case, including the fact you have at least one Supreme Court Justice, Thomas, who has publicly said he's got some concerns about these platforms and their power and how they infringe upon our free speech. You know what? Law changes. Circumstances change. We once had a segregated society, and then we didn't. Brown versus Board of Education changed that with education. It happens. Some things are legal one day, illegal the next. Some things are illegal one day, legal the next. Marijuana, for example. So if you think for a minute that there's no way that our U.S. Supreme Court and our other federal courts can't take a new, fresh look at these platforms and what's going on, you're crazy. Trump's lawsuit's legitimate. Florida condo collapse. I just simply wanted to say that they have finally announced, we don't cover this every day because it's the same old, it's been a while, but I think it's newsworthy to report, if you haven't heard, that it's now a recovery operation. All hope is gone for finding any more survivors in that rubble. We can only hope that some of them show up that, hey, I'm sorry, I was out of town, but it's really sad. A Black Lives Matter chapter says the U.S. flag is a hate symbol, and those people that fly it are unsafe, racist, and stupid. Speaks for itself. Unbelievable. ELSA, thank God the weather terrorists lost out on another one. This is just a tropical storm and did not turn into a hurricane. I think last report I heard that one died, but by golly, that's better than a damn hurricane hitting Florida. Gas prices are up, not 10, not 20, not 30, 40 freaking percent. And I saw a report before I came on to do the show that inflation is just going to keep on rocking and rolling. The market is way down on reports and concerns of that. Tax breaks on fossil fuels. I want to stress this, that I'm somebody that never understood, on one hand, tax breaks for these large oil companies who made a ton of freaking money. Okay, I got a problem with that on one hand. On the other hand, there are some things that are so important to our economy, i.e. fuel, energy, that I can maybe live with a little bit. What I can't understand is why Joe Biden, with gas prices up 40%, with him wanting to make us energy dependent again on the Middle East, he now wants to take away those breaks. I mean, I call it political Munchausen, folks. Trump was solving problems. Joe Biden has taken all those problems that Trump solved and caused them all to be problems again. I mean, it's just politics as usual 101. And the laundry list is unbelievable. I'm going to cover it for a weekend show. Rashida Tlaib says defund ICE because they harass the Hispanic communities. You know what? They only are going to arrest them if you're an illegal alien. This woman is all for rocker. Tucker Carlson emails. Here's what's come out lately. Tucker Carlson says they were trying to get an interview with Putin. And Tucker Carlson, it looks like this has really happened, that our government, the NSA, took his emails and then leaked them to the media. Do you see about Trump's lawsuit? When the government works with these corporations, works with the media. American Communist 10. They're all collaborating together. I hope Tucker Carlson nails their ass. Japan Olympics. Japan has gone DEFCON 10 to say, wait a minute. We got bad COVID right on the beginning of the Olympics. Would you want to fly to Japan when you know that disaster's already taken place? The Olympics are going to be a bust. California homicide rate is up 31% in 2020. Good luck, Newsom, not being kicked out. Cuomo, you know what? He handles the COVID situation awful. He's under investigation. Of course, we know it doesn't go anywhere. He then calls a statewide emergency for gun violence. What? His party does all, again, more political Munchausen. They create the problem, then they stumble around acting like they can solve the problem, which never happens. Bezos is now worth $211 billion. Does our government anymore have an antitrust Justice Department? Does it even exist anymore? Do they do anything? It's preposterous. If somebody doesn't think that Amazon is not a trust that needs broken up, you're crazy. It's unbelievable. Afghanistan. You know, we spend all this money, all these lives, all this harm, and then we pull out, and the whole country is just immediately to the Taliban. Can you imagine the horrors that are going to happen to anybody in Afghanistan that was on our side during our occupation of it? It is sad, and it's plain wrong. What the hell did we go there in the first place for? It's awful. Whitlock, Jason Whitlock, he's a black man, big black man, and he says, who's more of a concern to our peace and tranquility of society? The Ku Klux Klan, the KKK, or the Crips? As he points out, the Klan's harmless now. Klan's a joke. The Crips aren't a joke. True. Good job, late Jason Whitlock. Boris Becker. I remember watching Boris Becker play tennis. Good guy from Germany. The guy simply made a comment that one of the players' girlfriends was very pretty, and he's been called sexist. Are you telling me we can no longer say somebody is pretty? He didn't even say it to her. Ridiculous. Ashli Babbitt shooter. It is now apparently known, Piers Morgan was talking about, that he knows who the shooter was. And he says, well, there's probably justification to keep the police officer's name quiet because there could be threats and everything else. Bullshit. What about all these other police shootings? Their names are never protected when they're at risk and there's people showing up at their house. It's a joke. I can tell you right now, we have a right to know who this guy is. Let's hope the Judicial Watch gives him the name and publicize who the hell is this guy that shot Ashli Babbitt. Pope Francis, he had a colonoscopy, not a colonoscopy, he had a colon surgery, and the reports are, quote unquote, he's never going to be the same. My guess is his health's never going to be the same. My guess is he's probably got a colostomy bag for the rest of his life. So I would not be shocked if Pope Francis is not long from the papacy. And I think the previous Pope, Pope Benedict, might have set a new precedent where these popes don't stay in office till they die. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pope Francis retire. China's doing gene harvesting. Wow. You know, it's amazing how we pander to China when you think about all the crap that they do. And you know why they're doing it. Eugenics. Sean Penn. You might shock all of you conservatives that I'm going to give Sean Penn oracle status today, but there's a reason why. He and Conan O'Brien spoke out against the cancel culture, and that cancel culture because it was like Soviet Union-like. Now, we all know Sean Penn's a big liberal, but I don't know about you. In light of where we've gone in the last year, I'm okay with an ordinary liberal. And folks, to get this country back on track, we need blacks and liberals and gays, people like Jenner, and all these people to speak out. Russell Brand, because when the other side's leaders, Bill Maher, when they are in agreement with us, we should embrace that and say, all right, we are going to all agree that the cancel culture stuff is bullshit. So I'm going to give oracle status to the very liberal Sean Penn. Football star, young kid, 18 years old, car struck 50 times with bullets. I wonder what all the Black Lives Matter people, LeBron James, etc., are going to comment about that. Do you realize in this country, there's isolated, rare circumstances where you have police misconduct? Compare that to the complete lawlessness that we now have. What's the problem? The police misconduct isn't the national problem. The national problem is complete lawlessness. Black on black crime. Haiti assassination, well, they got them. These were mercenaries that assassinated the president of Haiti. And you know what? This is the world we live in. We're now going to shift over to where's all the crimes going to be? You know, world leaders, watch. It makes a difference when the world, see, they're more important. That's why January 6th is such a crock. Oh, congressmen, how dare they try to come get us? But they don't care if black people in Chicago get shot every day. China seizes the Brits' biggest microchip factory in China. Now, folks, that ought to scare the hell out of you. And that's why I would never want to own a business operating in one of these countries. There's a story, I'm going to close on 3 funny stories. Men friendship recession. Apparently, there's 15% of men that don't even have one close friend. And like 57% only have like 4 or 5 close friends. Wow, I am truly blessed. I have a bunch of close male friends. Feel sorry for those 15 that don't even have one close friend. Then they found in the desert $1 billion worth of pot. $1 billion. Wow. Just think, whoever had that, that was a loss. I wonder if they'll deduct it on their taxes. Last but not least, consistent with, I can't believe I'm doing this, with Sean Penn. Al Sharpton spoke out, Crazy Al, spoke out about the attacks upon defunding the police and say, man, we got to have police. We got to have police. Even Al Sharpton is speaking out against defunding the police. I'll end with that. I can't give him oracle status, though. I just can't. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.